My name's David Mott, run a company called DMA Building Designs. Well, the car sort of evolved from, I've always had an interest in hot rods and drag racing, and in fact, unbeknown to me, when I was about 7 or 8, we lived down in Camberley, and my father said there's some motor racing up at the airport. Went up there, and it was actually what we now know to be the historic drag fest. So that was I suppose my baptism. I met Sean here when I actually took an office here, and I was aware of his experience. So when he formed 03, it's a no-brainer to bring it here. Sean, Ben, Nathan at the time, Leanne with her support, they're just top guys, and they go the extra mile. They very much include you in what you want to be doing with it, but at the same time, if you trust them, like Sean did with the painting, the paint speaks for itself. It's awesome. Really good shop, multi-skilled, thoroughly recommend. The gasser here started with, I bought a Pro Street 100E a few years back. We went up to the pod a couple of times, and I did a couple of run what you brungs. Ironically, at the time, I thought the car was too nice, too much money in it to then bend it. So I sold it on, and I was looking for something that might fit the bill as a drag car. I saw a marketplace an ad for a 300E gasser from a guy called Dave McCallan, who'd started the build. We had a chat about it, and I eventually purchased it with a view that we would then build it up into a gasser. I have to say, a lot of the creation, obviously the paint, the style and that has come out of Sean's head, the paint, and his team. My input was to collect parts. We bought engine, gearbox. I had an input in wanting to mimic the side exhausts, which are a bit like, there's a gasser Volvo called Ain't No Saint, and I remember seeing that and was blown away by it. So we copied that. We had our first run back in September. Started with a very solid, just under 16-second run, about 90 mile an hour. We're due out in April for the first, and probably to do just 4 or 5 run what you brungs this year. We needed to get a name, and I must admit, we kicked around a few thoughts as the build was progressing, but as we were coming towards paint, I'd already Googled race names I thought of. Some of them I found were already taken. Because of where we are, the Brickyard, Brickworks, I came up with this name, and I showed the names to Sean the next morning, and he went, that one, we'll go with that one. It's the right name for the car and where it's actually formed. There was a gasser circus formed some years back, and I was aware that technically eligible to enter into their group, you had to, like most things, conform to certain rules. My whole idea was to have some fun, and whether I fitted in that class or not really wasn't an issue for me. Having said that, still been well received by Joe Public, and yeah, even some of the gasser boys have made comments, so I'm cool with it. That's fine. You go up as a spectator, watch the racing, maybe talk to the teams, but suddenly when you turn up with your own car, it's like you've joined a small family. So we had quite a few hard and fast racers that have been doing it 20, 30 years, come up and have a chat. So instead of looking on the outside, you were in with them. You can start at any age, as I've proved. If you're after a particular class to run in, you've probably just got to be aware of financially that commitment. I wanted mine to be just be able to, I could get in it, run it, no high maintenance, but some of the cars, they need a lot of attention. Just start at the bottom really, and if it grabs you, then work up to something that just doesn't bust your wallet. If anyone's got a dream or a bucket list, just do it. As I read in a magazine a guy who bought a car once, and he said he'd rather regret doing something than regret not doing it. And I think that's very true. Just go for it.